All right, this is One Last Midnight. Welcome back to another episode of Astroneer. And today we're going to look at the KAMIKAZE research strategy. You know, this is effective early game. You can do it at any time. Doesn't really matter. When you're down on research bites, you can run this method, but it's really effective early game when you're struggling for those research bites. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, bites are everything in Astroneer. Right? So you can't unlock anything inside of your research catalog without having the appropriate bytes. So let's say we're starting out. Okay, this is the beginning of the game. Maybe you followed the base building guide and you've gotten to the point where you've created the shuttle and you're about to leave. This is the first time you're going to leave Silva to go off to a different planet. But we're going to change the strategy a little bit. So this is all about bytes and the KAMIKAZE byte run. So how do you set this up? Well, it's pretty easy. So get yourself your shuttle, get your solid fuel thruster, put in a medium storage, move your shuttle off and call back your initialized cargo drop. Now that's going to take all the items that you got packed originally and put them back onto your landing pad. Take your oxygenator and your starting platform and put it into your storage. So at this point in time, what you want to do is we're prepping for the KAMIKAZE run. Now, I like to make myself a couple tether bundles. Tethers are important, and I like to have them available to me. I'm also going to stick those onto our little storage in the shuttle. Now, hopefully you have some cords laying around because you also want to make a beacon. And go ahead and put that in your shuttle as well. Now, for this last part, what we want to do is make as many oxygen filters as possible. And what you want to do is do this close to the base because this is going to take up a lot of power. So make your oxygen filters. Remember to also be connected to oxygen so you don't start using up the oxygen filters. The last thing to complete this build is make sure you have a thing of soil, a work light so that you can see, and some sort of power. This could be a small generator, but I happen to find a small wind turbine, so I'm going to use that. And we're going to head off to Glacio. Now, once you've found an appropriate landing spot, go ahead and land. Get out and start unpacking your mini little base. And hopefully, if you're lucky, you landed close to an area that has a cave. I landed almost right on top of one. Now, before we go on the KAMIKAZE run, we want to set ourselves up correctly. I want to make sure that I have some tether lines down. The reason for this is because I'm going to use this base also to collect the titanite and the hematite that's going to be needed for the rest of the base build. Get yourself a nice ramp built, setting down tethers all along the way. This way we're not eating up too much of our oxygen filters and we can continue the mission with getting titanite and hematite after we're completed with getting our bytes. If you happen to see bytes close to the tether line, don't waste your oxygen filters yet. Just go ahead and start grabbing them. This will be the beginning of our process. Also, before we start, if you're lucky and you see your resource that you need for later, make sure you tether to it because when we die, we are going to lose our light. Drop off any unwanted tethers. Go back and pick up your remaining oxygen filters. And let's start the KAMIKAZE run. It's pretty simple. It's self-explanatory. Look, you've got enough oxygen filters on you to last you for a long time. And if you brought yourself like a small wind turbine, you've got power so that you'll have light. And if you come across some resin, you'll be able to make some more oxygen filters. Your goal is just to collect research samples. You're going to run around these caves until you're tired of running around the caves or you die. You don't want to do that. And just gather as many of these research samples as humanly possible. Now, keep an eye on your filters. You're going to come across resin fields like this in the first level of the caves. You want to make sure that when you're getting low on filters, you go back to this resin field and you re-up on resin. You dig through, get some resin, build yourself some more filters, rinse and repeat. Some of these are hard to get because of the way that they're built. Your main concern should just be finding as many research samples as you possibly can find. Don't even worry about going back to your body and collecting the small little items that you brought with you. I mean, if you can make your way back, that's great. If you could figure it out, you've gone in one maybe specific direction, and you can make it back to your tether lines and back up to your little mini base, fantastic. Otherwise, don't concern yourself with it. All right, as you can see, I'm down to my last oxygen filter, and I have gathered 20,000 bytes in a short period of time. Now, you could keep doing this forever. I mean, as long as you continue to keep finding resin to build oxygen filters, you can continue this process. Digging on Glacio is a little bit slow. It's going to take a little time because you don't have a drill mod, but it's okay that you don't have a drill mod because that takes up power. So as long as you're getting yourself some resin for oxygen filters, you can continue this process and continue to keep gathering bytes. But this is a pretty effective way to gather bytes in the very beginning of the game. And remember, it doesn't really matter if you wind up dying or not, because your objective at this point in time is solely bytes. Before you leave the planet though, make sure you do grab your Titanite and your Hematite if this is the first time you've been here, because you're gonna need them to build other base building pieces. But at least you'll have the bytes to unlock those new base building pieces, and then some. Alright, so I'm finally out of oxygen filters. I'm almost completely out of oxygen. I've done this, I did 2 rounds, so I did make some more oxygen filters, and I wound up bringing out 46,000 bytes. Now, remember that when you do this process, you could do it again. It's not that big of a deal. Matter of fact, you wait some time, like about 20-30 minutes, the cave will respawn, all of those research samples will respawn, and you can run this process all over again. So here it is, that's the end of me. I'm never going to find this body ever again. It's not that big of a deal because these items on me, they were easy to make, they were easy to find. I wind up back at the shuttle, and remember, before you leave, we did set down those tether lines. Make sure you go down and you get yourself your Titanite and go into the mountains, run another tether line, and get yourself your Hematite so that you can make the rest of your base building pieces if you haven't already, right? So this process can be used at any time. You can, however, get the small research samples on organic. They are not bad. Or you can go into the mountain and find the research samples on the rocks. But, you know, to be honest with you, they're not that efficient. It's better to go down into the first level of the caves and just run a kamikaze mission down there, because you'll wind up with a ton of bytes. All right, so that was my video on the kamikaze research strategy. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not subscribers, please subscribe, be part of this fantastic community. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below. And if you want to know when I go live and post new videos, you got to make sure you hit that notification bell. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.